So this is a 2-week series on stewardship, but more stewards. It's not so much about money. I'm not...
Can't hear.
Check, there we go. It's not so much about money. It's about who has the money. And there are a number of let's say, kingdom truths from this Bible reading, of which you may have noticed you only got a part of today. Stay tuned for the continuation. And I wanted to start today, and by the way, it was, I don't know how it happened, but it was an accident that the translation up on the screen said talents while Diana was reading bags of gold. And at first I thought, oh no, did I get things wrong? No. Hey, here's a good statement. Because we talk about the parable of the talents. Well, what does it mean? Well, sometimes we extend it to mean our God-given talents, like the musicians up front here. But it also is very real. A talent is a very real sum of money in the time of Jesus. It was equivalent to the average person's yearly wage. So to be given 5,000 talents or 2,000 talents was incredible indeed. Even to be given 1,000 talents was amazing indeed. And so, as we look at this, over the next couple of weeks, I want to talk about the characters involved, and with a view to us today, who are called to be stewards. This is a story of 3 stewards, but it is actually the story of us as stewards. And we have a choice to make within the midst of it, but more on that later. The first thing that should be really apparent in here is, other than, of course, the master is in control, but other than that, each servant doesn't get the same. You notice that? One gets 5, the other gets 2, the last gets 1. We are not all created equal. And in this particular day and age, this is becoming a harder thought, I believe, to grab hold of. Because we do, for example, we tell our kids, and I did it, you can be anything you want. Well, no, you can't. Let's face it. I cannot be a mathematician. Ain't going to happen. I cannot be a professional football player. Ain't going to happen. I cannot be, just by birthright, the President of the United States. Not that I would want to. We cannot be anything. Now, and I get the spirit we tell it in our kids. We're encouraging our kids to dream. And that is not a bad thing. Definitely encourage the dreams of youth. Encourage the little girl to say, I'm going to be the first president. Can't say that here in Canada, we've already had female prime ministers. But to say that I am going to be the first. I am going to do something that nobody else has done. Yes, encourage them. Encourage the big dreams. But the reality is we are not all created equal. I do not look like Brad Pitt, sadly enough. Brad Pitt, blessings on him, doesn't look like Troy Van Dam. We are not created equal. This is clear in the master giving each a separate amount. It is not an equal distribution because we are not created equal. Now, this is not a moral judgment on the master's part. Instead, it is a statement of the understanding that the master has for the servants. In my household, 2 very, very different children. My younger sister never really understood the idea that we are not created equal. And so she was always on guard for any example of favoritism towards her big brother. Now, I'm going to bet, how many here grew up brother, sister? All right? Who was the oldest? You got a lot more freedom, didn't you? And more, but with that, more responsibility.
I was going to say.
Yes.
You don't say with the butt.
Exactly. You get to stay up later than your younger sibling, right? But, you're going to watch your younger sibling tomorrow. While we go out. Yeah, exactly. So you got more freedom. Because you were older, because you were the test child. But we are not created equal. Now, these two kids, me and my sister, one of whom was incredibly intelligent. The other, and you're all running through your heads thinking, which one are you talking about here? Incredibly intelligent, this is going to give it away here. Incredibly driven. The other, okay, pretty smart, and incredibly lazy. Will work very, very hard to find the easiest way to do something. Will work very hard to avoid working. Now that should be a dead giveaway of which one is which. My sister was incredibly driven. My sister, incredibly driven and incredibly intelligent. And always competing with her big brother. She had to be better in school, and this was where you see her drivenness. She had to be better because she felt she would be compared to me. And I always said to her, kiddo, if anybody's comparing you to me, they're setting the bar real low. Don't worry about it. We're not equal. We are different, and that's good. We have our different gifts, and it's okay. She was also much more dexterous and could work with her hands, whereas I could not hammer a nail straight in the wall if my life depended on it. We were not created equal. Now, my parents had higher expectations of her educationally than me. Because, now partly you may say, oh, they gave up on me, which might be true, I don't know. But on the other hand, they recognized her innate intelligence and her ability to thrive, her drivenness to succeed. And recognized my fundamental laziness. So there were different expectations put upon us because we were not created equal. But the expectations put upon us were high and innate. It is not that the parents gave up on either kid. They still drove us, they pushed us. But they pushed us into the areas where we could succeed. So I was pushed musically. Because there was a recognition, though my sister also had a talent for music, that it wasn't as great as mine. So my parents put their resources unequally, in a sense, into where their kids could do best. It was not the same. But there was an equality to it, a recognition of the gifts fundamentally within a person. And that's the story of the master here. He gives 1 5, not because he really likes the one he gave 5 to, but because he believes that the 5 can do something. He gives another 2, not because he thinks, well, you're not as good as number 5, but because he recognizes that number 2 can do something. And he gives the last one 1, because he recognizes the innate abilities. Tied in with that, well, let me just say, we are not created equal. And this is really important for us as stewards. Some of us have the ability to dream big dreams. Now, as I was raised, that was me. I was always called the daydream. And those who didn't dream big dreams would just shake their heads. Here he goes again. He's trying to capture the sky. If only he'd get his head out of the clouds. But the reality is, there are those who have the ability to put things into action. And that is a giftedness. Somebody who can take a big dream and be able to break it down in measurable, movable goals that will drive a group or a gathering forward is incredible indeed. Now, those two are needed together. If you only have a dreamer leading an organization, the organization is never going to get anywhere because dreamers dream big dreams. But if you only have an organization led by people who cannot see big dreams but can only drive an organization, then you will likely, as an organization, default to money. And in that, die. Yeah. So, the different gifts are one given 5 needed the one given 2, and they both needed the one given 1. Together they could have done incredible things with their giftedness. But they didn't. They didn't. Instead, each took their own gifts, and things then went off the rails. Now, it didn't go off the rails for number 1 and steward number 1 and steward number 2. They took what was given to them. They took the gifts that were given, each according to their ability, and they used them. And in return, brought back the master a reward. They brought back more than they were given. Now, we can talk about things like honesty and integrity and this and that. Surely the master would not notice if the one who was given 5,000 only brought back 4. Surely, a little bit, we don't need to get into that conversation, because we can remember that our master is with us all the time. Doesn't leave on a long journey when we're given the gifts. But the gifts are given to each according to their abilities, and they are used by stewards number 1 and 2. And they double the master's investment. Now, the master could have said to them, hey, you know what? If you pooled your resources, you could have tripled my investment. But he didn't. He took the gifts. He saw that the stewards were working. Saw that the stewards were doing something. And in return, brought back double the investment. And the figure here, too, let's not get hung up on that. I believe that is just poetic ability on Jesus' part. The one who got 5 brought back 5 more. Rather than Jesus explaining, well, he brought back 1,335 because the interest rate was 3.2% compounded, that ruins the story. So instead it just, it doubles. But it's not the sum that matters. What matters is the master has noticed and says, well done, good and faithful servant. Gifts given and used please the master. They please the one who has given the gifts. And lastly, this was crucial, especially I mentioned I'm fundamentally lazy, and I won't deny it. I like to avoid work wherever possible. However, I do know that success is a matter of working. That you cannot just wait for it to happen. People talk about bands, in the musical world, who all of a sudden break onto the scene. And they're this big flash as they break into the business. Well, the reality is every one of them will tell you they have been 10, 15, 20 years in the making to break into the business. It doesn't just happen. It comes about through hard work. It comes about through thinking things through. It comes about through putting your nose to the grindstone. Success doesn't just happen. The 2 servants, the first 2 knew this, and they went out and they invested the money. The third doesn't get it. Instead, he does nothing with it. Buries it in the ground. Now, we'll talk about his motivation for that next week. We're going to focus on steward number 3 mostly next week. But to end off here, success is a product of the effort that we put in. Nothing put in is going to equal nothing out. Every action has an equal reaction. You do nothing, you get nothing. Now, it's no guarantee. The steward investing in 5 talents might have lost it all in the stock market. Bought penny stock that had the possibility of earning so much really quickly and then lost it all. That was that potential. What would the master have said? I like to think that if the guy with 5,000 pieces of gold lost it all, the master would say, well done, good and faithful servant. Because it's not about the return. It's about the use of the gift. This is crucial for churches. We need to put our nose to the grindstone, yes, but we need to look for the small successes too. If we're thinking only that in here, I'm a dreamer, I talk about reaching the city, 28,000 people in the city of St. Thomas who are open to the gospel, to the message of Jesus Christ. And what a huge mission field is, there you see the dreamer. Now, what I need are some people who are going to break that down and say, okay, 28,000, let's start with 1. And then let's do 2. And then let's reach 3 and 4 and 5. You see how those gifts are needed. And it will only happen if we work at it. Success in church life doesn't happen because people sit in a pew. It doesn't happen because the music is great. It doesn't happen because the coffee is good or even there. It happens because the people who are gifted as stewards of Jesus Christ, stewards of the Master, work to reach people. That is where success comes. It's not easy, but boy, is it rewarding. When you see the results of your work, and you hear the Master say,